Welcome to Gem Collectors with Shawn. Just a day late, and in Shawn's world, that sure beats than and better than not at all. And yes, it was a difficult week last week, and that's Asif can't always do it, but when he can, when I call or text him in the morning and say that, I'm just not going to be able to put up the kind of show that I want to do. And, he knows what that means. He knows that. I also commented, I said, I don't want to, and nothing against this, but I also, I said, I don't want to read about my less than normal performance in the comments, because all of you know me so well, and many of you have been with me or watching me for over a decade, and I wear my emotions on my sleeve anyway. And this has been an emotional and difficult summer, so I'm a little more sensitive and probably can't hide them as well. So it would certainly have been a show less than. And that's how I describe it to Asif. And thank goodness he was able to work it out to where I could be here today, Monday, which you're seeing this show on Tuesday. And I've already talked to Miss Sarah and told her to post a note up. She did it within minutes of me sending an email out to her this morning, because I knew that that's when all of you would be checking for if the show was going to be posted on Monday, but only a day later, which that way one more day to have gotten yourself prepared. We have a new person that has discovered the show, and I am really glad for his comment. You're going to find out why, because it's most appealing to my ego, but it's really appealing to and complimentary to what all of us have created here in this sphere, including, of course, Dave, Asif, Kevin, Christy, Shawn, all those behind the scenes that have been with the show for years. So, yeah. And I've known these guys well beyond. So, Charles, I, hope you don't mind me mentioning you, but if your face is turning red and getting embarrassed like mine does in public, then at least you're doing it in the comfort of your home and not on real television like everyone is seeing me. Welcome to the Gem Shopping family, which I mean the greater Gem Shopping Network. 25 years we have been here, and our founder, who's still around but not part of the company any longer, but his original interest was as a rock hound. And so with roots like that, the show was built upon that. And this show still has some of those original roots and seeds of the company that then grew into what it is now. And for Charles, who actually just discovered not only this channel but the network at the same time, was not familiar, and he was searching and internet searching for how to bezel set a gemstone. And Charles, I'll be happy to say that what allowed him to find the greater network and all that we are is the How It's Done series, which popped up, and he, out of other choices, possibly, whatever, chose our channel, the Gem Collectors Show, to see me at action at the bench. So for so many of you, and I can tell Charles, I did a live show for 9 years prior to doing this podcast now, which is our 256th show of doing this once a week. And the How It's Done series took a year. The director of production for the entire network is also the gentleman sitting behind the board, the deco board, and all the controls, so to speak, of the show. He actually does this show himself, and he is the one that produced and directed the How It's Done series, which took a year to create those episodes. When I see, and it was actually my son that first pointed it out, because of course, which he had a birthday this past week. He's my October baby, who is 34 years old now. And he's the one that actually pointed out to me a year or so ago. He goes, "Dad, have you actually seen how many views some of your videos have had?" And I really hadn't. I love to see that that is a resource people are using to find out how to do certain things the right way, or to help you better understand why sizing a platinum ring costs more than a gold ring, and all the nuances of working with platinum. Everything you could ever imagine, we filmed and didn't just talk about it, we actually showed you how it's done. How'd you like that segue to the title? All right, so let's get to the comments. Let's get to the winner of the trivia contest. Then let's get to the items for today. Today's items, you're going to see some new, you're going to see some excellent buying opportunities on some other items that you might have seen in the past. We're going to mix it all up. I'm going to get some of these goodies behind me as well. So let's get to the comments, because I'm sure after waiting another extra day, you're ready for them. All right, so I print out, or whatever you do, I do, with the comments chronologically from the ones that would have been posted the oldest to the newest. Just so you know, that's just the way I take them off of the internet site. But I did, so I, with the one extra day, well, to you it was, but I went from filming on Thursday to recording on Monday, and so that allowed a few extra days for me to see if there were any additional comments. And there was one, and it was from our beloved Harry. And he says, "Hey Shawn, just a quick thank you for my gem rough parcel. And also a special thank you to Elisa for her forfeiting her own trivia gift to give it to me. I am humbled and grateful. Thank you all." And of course, Harry has another comment later that I'll read. But Harry's sister, Harry came out fine in his screening test, but if you'll remember, his sister not so fine. So our thoughts and prayers go out to her. And let's continue on, because Cindy's husband, remember, you know, we sound like a bunch of old people sitting around talking about what's wrong with her. Cindy's husband was having knee surgery. So let's see how everything goes. First, the first comment and the trivia answers came in too late to be included in last week's show, and it was Charles was one of them. So to remind everybody else, the cutoff time when the show posts on Monday, the cutoff time for any comment or answer to the trivia has to be by like 7 a.m. Thursday morning of the same week. So show posts on Monday, cutoff time, because we record the show on Thursdays, and I actually am up really early doing work for the show and pull the items off the internet at about 7 on Thursday morning of the week. So that's the time frame we have. Well, this week we had a little extra time, and so hence we had the additional comment. Last week, when they came in and missed the deadline, it was from Charles. So let me read you this from Charles, because he introduces himself. "Dear Professor Shawn, my name is Charles. I am a new viewer. I am a longtime rockhound, novice lapidary artist, and aspiring jeweler. A couple weeks ago, I found you while searching for how to bezel set stones. Your charisma and personality is truly magnetic, and I found myself delving into your channel. I was very excited to discover your weekly show. Boy, you can't beat that for kindness and a compliment. Very excited to discover your weekly show. Your delivery and the knowledge you share is so fun and valuable that I'm going to be a loyal viewer. I look forward to reviewing your past 250 shows. Wow. Yeah, my wife and I purchased your unique flat smoky quartz and feldspar from Colorado with the beautiful specular hematite. You know, it's funny. I actually wondered about that piece. It wasn't, you know, like one of those real expensive ones, but it was so different. And I was curious as to who spotted that for the treasure that it is and for the uniqueness. You know, it's one of those that it didn't even cost that much, but even go try to find, the old famous find another one, you know, very difficult. He goes on to write, we love it. That's his wife. So it sounds like his wife, Charles' wife, is in on the rock hound hobby as well. How cool is that? We love it. We promise to enjoy it thoroughly and take good care of it by keeping it in our specimen-filled curio cabinet. That is where all of our, you know what, take the china that's grandma's. Nothing against grandma's china or your aunt's or somebody's, because in our generation, you either inherited it or you were one that actually had people get you the set and then you never used it. Take the china out, box it up safely, tuck it away somewhere that you never have to worry about it being in your way ever again, and fill that china cabinet with beautiful mineral treasures. And they can be from your backyard, like my garnet schist specimens that I've given away that you can find in my backyard. Or even, you know, Raven said there's no such thing as an ugly rock. Because I had commented one time and had used that term. And she, you know what, I got to think, it's like, wow, you know, she's really right about that. If you're a real rock hound, a rock lover, there is no such thing as an ugly rock. And you should see the type of rocks she displays. But I find myself picking up these, what would be considered more common rocks, just as often as the other finer specimens. I'll see something in the rock that, oh, that's really different or unusual. And that's what attracts us to all rocks and minerals. It's not, a dollar figure does not always buy us interest in a piece. Sometimes it can help. But those pieces that can draw our attention to them can also be found for free. As Anthony says, all we have to do, eyes down, and like I say, keep your feet on Mother Earth. Go down to that little creek in the backyard that you never thought might hold anything. Look at the edge of a lake when you decide to, you know, go somewhere and feed some ducks. You just never know. But rocks and minerals are everywhere on this planet, that there's Earth. And if that's the case, then there's always the opportunity to find something cool. So, it's really neat to see when, you know, people's interest, like in that piece, that some might look at that specular hematite and feldspar piece as, oh, that's not so attractive. Others may see it as like, wow, that is really cool. That's the way I saw it as. I was like, ah, you know, those crystals of feldspar might be a little funky, and it's kind of like a conglomerate or mix of this, but that is really cool. You know, I haven't seen anything like that. And yeah, so that's why there's no such thing as an ugly rock. Or that's Dave, by the way. If you have not met our cameraman, he is one of the best there is, and that's why he's with this show also. Always standing by and ready. And you know what? You know, actually, it's perfect that he made some noise, because he has become interested in rocks and minerals as well, just by looking at them in this show for a very long time. So now when he goes to a river, like there's two up in northeast Georgia and whatnot, he's brought back, well, I've showed you on this show some really cool things. All right, so Charles, I am so glad to see that you have a curio cabinet filled with gems and minerals, but if other people are saying, wow, I wish I had one too, well, you just might. It's called a china cabinet. And to remind those who haven't heard me speak of it before, I have, for a number of years, and that's where I have gotten my cabinets from. I go to these basically secondhand shops or thrift shops. These really like, well, around here, they take old chicken barns and they convert them into, let's see, how do I word this? They convert them into places to sell garage sale type items. Except, they're covered, and in the winter, they're heated with the big heaters for the chickens, and they work out great. People rent a little space in them. Well, you just walk these. There's one place in particular in Forsyth County that there's like 6 of them, and they're kind of terraced down a hill, and you can just walk back and forth in them. There's furniture in there. People have permanent little setups, and I have never paid more than $50. I will take these cabinets, as long as they close well, they have the doors, the wood is good. I will, if they're missing shelves, it doesn't matter. I have all the shelves replaced with glass. I have a glass cutter that I've worked with that does a great job. I'll put a mirrored backdrop, or the shelves I'll have will be out of mirrored glass. Then it doesn't matter if you drill them. I drill them, I wire them with 3 different wavelengths of light, including the little tiny strip lighting that I line on the inside edge. I could actually probably sell schematical ideas as to how to convert these, and a lot of you will find, oh no, and more of the how it's done, except how it's done, Shawn the woodworker, and or curio cabinet converter. And these are also ones that easily, one big black light and the top shelf, boom, you have a fluorescent mineral display wavelength of light. So I have these little floods, I put a rheostat on it, and just, people have loved these. If I actually made these and then put them up for sale at a gem and mineral show, I mean, a lot of people would rather pay for something finished, complete, and so very cool than doing it themselves. I happen to actually enjoy doing that because the end product is really, really cool. So, especially when I can change the look of the specimens just by my control panel of light switches and rheostats. And, the kid in me. Okay, so, Charles, fantastic to hear where that specimen resides now. I'm actually picturing it. Actually, the one in my shop that I have that's real close to my bench, which my office shop is actually extensive at home. It's a whole basement, half the garage where I keep my 18-inch saw, diamond saw. Like I said, the entire basement. But also, you walk right in the front main door. If it was up to me, I'd get rid of the dining room table. But it has a really nice scolecite specimen right in the center of it. What else would I do with the specimen if I got rid of the dining room table? Yeah, right. Dining room table. It's one of those cool dining room tables, so we'll keep it and we won't burn it in for firewood this next year. And right to the right, I don't know what those other rooms in houses that they build, these rooms, what, little sitting parlors? They're not sparking parlors anymore, Don't do that. So it's my office. I get to look right out the front window. My 2 benches are there, my faceting bench, the faceting bench, nice place to do it in, and have my tunes. And right in the corner, as a corner cabinet, curio, my personal specimen cabinet, where I keep my personal items that a lot of you have actually been getting over the last year. So, but you haven't cleaned me out of everything yet that's in that cabinet. And it is tricked out. It's a triangle case. So, really cool case. Really cool case. Probably my favorite case of them all. And I had the glass cut, and that is not expensive. It is not expensive to do. So, $50. What was more expensive than anything was the different lighting. So, the cabinet, I think that one cost me $25. The glass was probably $50 or $60. And remember, I'm in the country, so the country glass cutter, it's a good deal. The lighting, like I said, was more than anything, but it was probably about $75 worth of lights. And then, you know, my time. And this is a cabinet, if you had specimens in it and all, I mean, not the, what, $500, $600? If you were to custom make something like that for somebody, easily could cost a lot more than that to make it the way I made it. And I had a lot of fun doing it. I couldn't believe I got the triangle case like I did. That was the initial score. Once I had the base, the rest was easy. And anyway, maybe I'll show you pictures one day, you know? Okay, so this is from last week. So Charles goes on to say, thank you very much. I think you're wonderful and wish that I may someday find a mentor in my area that is as cool as you. Sincerely, Charles. Wow, Charles. You know how to make a guy feel really, really great. I needed that. Yeah, I did. I thank you for your kind comment. So, his answers, this is remembered to the week before, and he got them all right. Manganese and iron, he was watching the show well. Answer to question 2, that was about the 2-phase inclusions, got that right. Answer to question 3, 3-phase inclusion has 3 of the 4 phases of matter within the inclusion. I like this, Charles. I like Charles. I can already tell. I am only aware of 3-phase inclusions that are solid, liquid, and gas together, but how neat would it be for plasma to be trapped inside a crystal? You can tell Charles is a science guy. He knows his science, kind of like a Barbara, you know? Barbara knows her stuff. I can see that Charles knows a little bit more than the average guy. All right, Miss Cindy. Let's see. So anyway, Charles, you did well. You would have definitely been in the running for the trivia winner. Miss Cindy. Hello, Rock family. I watched the part of the show in the waiting room. Remember Cindy waiting, knee surgery, hubby, in the waiting room while my husband was having the knee replacement. Caught the rest when I got home. You know, you can't beat that. First, Charles says what he does, and then Cindy, while her husband is having knee surgery, is watching my show. Love it. It's certainly a good distraction, indeed. Surgery went according to plan. A relief, as you never know till they are done and in their room. Now, boy, isn't that the truth? I mean, even something very simple, tonsillectomy, appendix, any of those things can go wrong. You know, with MRSA and sepsis and all these things that you can bring home or get in a hospital, no matter how hard they try. Yeah, you're not promised. None of us are promised tomorrow. And as someone who almost lost Raven this summer and did lose my father and his sister-in-law, my favorite aunt, who had the farm that really led to my whole interest in rocks and minerals in Macon County, North Carolina. Yeah, so it was a difficult summer. Lost a lot, almost lost my home. The summer of loss, but hopefully we're going to move beyond that. Miss Cindy says, it was hard to concentrate on every detail, but here goes trivia answers are. So the questions. How many years ago did Shawn make his ruby ring? Well, if you know or watching, I recounted that the way I signed my pieces was either by hand with, well, I just make a metal tip, fine tip from a broken burr, and I will draw into the metal with that if I can't use one of my two inside ring engravers, which handle most of the situations I need anyway. It just lasts longer and looks better if I can do it that way. So I do my initials for my name, which are S and S, and I put the year that I make the piece in between those S's. So that ring was one of the oldest ones when I really looked that I was able to recover, and it was when I made it for the gentleman. It was on the deal that if and he had a partner, and if he ever passed away or this situation came about that they no longer wanted the ring, that I'd have the opportunity to get it back. And so it came up, and I was able to get the ring back that I originally made for them. And one of the two gentlemen, he was actually Burmese. And so he had actually gotten this ruby, and you know, we're speaking about my personal ruby ring that you saw me wear for years, in Burma, and that's why I know it's not certified. But these guys had an amazing estate jewelry business, and really knew their stuff, and I concurred with them as to what I thought was the origin of it. So, and by the way, I just checked this morning. If you're interested in that ruby ring, it is still available through this show. Now, I say that because it's at an amazing opportunity, 13.5 grams platinum. Beautiful. Just watch last week's show if you want a recounting of the piece and see it again, and the price. So it's still available. But after this week, I'm not going to let it run the normal amount of time I do this other inventory. I'm going to remove it from inventory, and then you may see it elsewhere as you watch other gem shopping shows. So don't be surprised, because this is where I wanted to give all of you a first chance opportunity, and then you may see it elsewhere, because those other shows, some of the other shows that you'll see it in are the incredible high-end jewelry shows, not Shawn's Rocks and Minerals and silver jewelry, but really cool stuff show. The things I'm so familiar with, which I've sold, things from the highest of prices. I was recounting to Raven actually just yesterday how I remembered when I was 23 and 24, going through a period in the early 80s when it was not uncommon for me to set in Belcher settings 10 to 13 karat diamonds, at least one in that size range, one a week. The largest I ever set was a 17 karat. I remember at that age, now you got to remember this is in 1980, I would have been, let's see, I graduated in 79, so 18, probably about 4 or 5 years. So I was 22, 23 years old. I remember this one job, it was a rush job for a sale to a gentleman, and it was a 13 karat. I remember that weight because of the number, just because. But I don't let stuff like that get in my head when I'm doing the stone setting. And so you would think that a 23 or 24-year-old goldsmith wouldn't have the level of experience it would require. People would wait for me to be able to do their stone setting on the high ends, on the emeralds, on the opals, and they would pay. It would take me normally about 3 hours, and so it wasn't a price per hour, it was kind of just a net thing, but on average, I got $1,000 an hour. It would take me about 3 hours to set a 10 karat round in these, and that's going slow and taking my time, rightfully so. It was also, I had no liability, of course. I wouldn't have the money to pay it back if I broke it, so it was always done. But that's the faith that they had in me. And it would usually be around $3,000 to $4,000 I would get paid. Now, remember, this is in 1984, 85 kind of thing, and you would normally say that's really big money, but in my world and in the value of the diamonds that they were selling and what was going on, this is, remember, right after the gold shot up in 1980 and people started breaking out their jewelry, and so in that period of time and seeing what they had, estates were being liquidated and diamonds were being moved around. They were the big ones had some color, but not enough yellow that they would certify fancy. And I say this only because, as long as you believe that you have the talent and the ability to set something like that and have learned the experience and you have the knowledge, you can set something like that. You just have to believe in yourself. And if you doubted it, it would never go well. I'll tell one little story, because remember, I've got a lifetime of them. By the time I was 21, I managed a trade shop with 7 other jewelers. I remember this poor guy. He was probably 20 years older than I. He had that many more years of experience at the bench. And he waited till Christmas Eve. He got the money up to buy a 1/2 carat diamond to make this ring for his wife. And he was worrying all day long because he had to get his work done first before he could work on that piece. And I was shop manager. And he worried all day long about breaking the stone because he knew that there wouldn't be any more time. And I kept telling him, I said, Jeff, you're not going to break the stone. It's going to be fine. I said, do you want me to do it for you? And he said, no. I want to do it for my wife. I want to be able to be the one to say that I worked and made the whole piece, because he had made the ring. And I said, okay. And so most of the other jewelers left. He stayed on to work on that ring, and I, always usually stayed and was working on something else, usually fixing one of the other 7 jewelers' pieces that they would have errors on. So anyway, all of a sudden, I see him just drop his head on the bench pin. And I knew right then what had happened. I just walked up to him and put my hand on his shoulder and asked him if there's anything I can do. And he didn't even want me to see him crying. And it was terrible. He broke the diamond. He thought all day long he was going to break that diamond. And so guess what? He did. He did. There was no replacement. There was no way he had the money to do anything about it. It would have only recut maybe a 20-pointer. He really slivered the entire backside. He really did. And I was heartbroken. But that is, so at my age, setting at 23, 24 years old, 22, because I was doing that work for a number of years, setting huge diamonds for big money. Never once did I think I'd have an issue with breaking those diamonds. And that's why I developed that trade. And it soon became more of I actually developed a lot more confidence in myself. Not arrogance. There's a huge difference. Confidence. And the confidence in the fact that I could charge. That's what I had to learn. Could charge for that while you wait service, because that's what it was. Other than that, who's going to set a 10 karat diamond for? Certainly no one in the whole entire Atlanta area. Why they wait a 10 karat diamond? I charge for it. So anyway, Miss Cindy says, it was hard to concentrate on every detail, but here goes the trivia answer. 23 years ago, you made the ruby. Brookite is a polymorph of rutile, because that was question number 2. What polymorph of brookite did I mention? A polymorph is the same mineral chemically, but it has a different crystal system. So there are a lot of different polymorphs. You have kyanite, sillimanite, and andalusite. All the same thing chemically, but boy, do they look different, each one in their own way. And all just due to a different crystal system makes them a different color. So well done, Miss Cindy. You all take care and look forward to next week. And she always says what her favorite piece was. Favorite piece was Ruby, which she has, it looks like, nickname Ruby. Harry goes on to say, hi there, Professor Shawn and the lovely Raven, all the great peeps at GSN, as well as all the sisters and brothers in stone. Are you kidding me? You have a meter that reads out to thousandths of a millivolt? Huh? Well, that definitely tells me who the ultimate geek is. And I say that now with love, because I bet a meter that sensitive costs plenty. Just like my electronic laboratory scale that does all the math for you figuring out specific gravity. Oh, really? Really, Harry? Wow. What about the water and immersion in water and all that? Like I do it. Yeah. I will. That is a gizmo I want. Sounds like. Yep, my scale has the formula built in. So I understand when you need it, you need it. It reads out to 4 decimal places as well. I do love all electrical property with rocks too, but I have your average fluke meter for any voltage or resistance reading. I just heard Cindy's comment for my sister and you mentioning her name. I'm humbled and have a very grateful heart. Thank you, and Cindy, I will say a prayer for your hubby's knee surgery. And thank you, Miss Elisa, for the trivia chance. I have not been tuning on until today, the 10th, and I am in tears. And you all thought of me like this, Shawn. I have been talking a lot with my sister and a bit depressed, but I will make sure to keep all of you, my extended family, through GSN, all informed. So that said, thank you all so much, and I thank God for each and every one of you every day of my life. Even more learning too, meaning learning to love all and humanity more. What a great comment. What a great thing. Y'all, we have to meet. Oh, by the way, my sister has a plan for her treatment, and it'll be just what she needs for a successful treatment. Yay, Harry. Bless you and your sister. We are thrilled for the good news. He goes on to the trivia. This is, again, from the week before, manganese and iron, and he getting all the anhydro, the 2 and 3 phase right. This may be cheating, LOL. How about a water and gas bubble and a gold nugget right in there as well? How would that be for a 3-phase anhydro? Holy moly, my new favorite is the etched morganite. Wow, I had no clue this could happen. And the peach one is way cool. Oh, I love them both. I'm sorry, Shawn, the ruby ring should stay in your family. There, I said it. Hey, the brookite looks like a rock lobster. Which brings me up, when someone says that, first thing I think of, the B-52s and the song, Rock Lobster. Now, might be, I'm not really showing my age. All y'all are, my age group. I know you would have heard of the B-52s. I'm not, no, you're not going to get me to try to sing that Rock Lobster line. You gotta go look it up and listen to it. Mr. Anthony, hello all, great show as usual. The Zone Sapphire ring was always my favorite, but that standalone ruby with that brush finish is and always a head turner. Sorry it won't be me, but I hope you get your price. It's worth every penny and more. Hoping everything is okay with Harry's sister. He goes on to say, you made that ring in 1999. Okay, I'm doing my math now. 23 years ago, Rutile is a polymorphic brookite. Right on both of them. Miss Gabby, greetings, my GSN Rock family. Thanks for another on-time show, Shawn. I say that not to make fun, but because it assures us everything is okay with you and yours. Thank you. That's really, and I do know you mean it that way. Sending prayers and healing thoughts to Harry and his sister. Yes, I do have one of the etched morganite specimens, the one with the tourmaline crystal. My apologies if I already mentioned this, and that I love it, she writes. Ah, yes, that, when I saw that in that one particular piece, because we actually took everything the miner actually had. He exhibited these at a show, and he said that there were no others, and if you actually do research on them, there's only one place that they have been found. And so one of the things that is found at that same location with it are tourmaline. So when you get her morganite, it is actually where it looks like the tourmaline crystal, original one, was etched out. It left a perfect triangular area, and another tourmaline used that basis of original shape to grow another green tourmaline crystal inside that was smaller. So, you know, the morphology of it, I'm not exactly sure, but I know that the tourmaline crystal in there isn't a smaller version of what the original one, like it etched, you know, down smaller. The original one would have been gone. Another one started to grow, just like crystals that you hear about, the healing, a healing fissure in a crystal. Nature loves to heal its wounds, whether it's a tree and the use of sap to heal it, or healing itself, or even a non-life form crystal will want to put itself back together when it is broken or removed, etched out. Those morganites, and to see the two colors, to have two of them for that color comparison is really interesting to see, because you really don't see the peach until you have the pink. You really don't see the pink until you have the peach one. So that's why together I showed them that way. Let's see. Okay. She goes on to say, my apology. Okay, yeah, trivia. Rutile and 23 years. Gets both of those, right? We'll be out of pocket next week, but we'll be in touch the next. Take care, everyone. Always Miss Gabby. Then she goes, P.S. Any info on my Herkimer and Moldavite pendant? And I was going to show you, because I actually have the bag and the box in the bag, and it is so well worn from me carrying it around, hoping I was going to run across Andrew, the wire wrapper. But that whole, it's really my fault. Let me act on that. Kevin has already been asked me about it, so I need to move that further along. Miss Elisa, and I've told you that already before, so I'm just kind of ignoring, putting my head down and moving on. Miss Elisa says, hello, Rock family, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, and GSN crew. Oh, by the way, she's talking about a job where, you know, the wire wrapper, our wire wrapper, who does the wire wrapping, incredible wire wrapping, and two things to wire wrap together was a Herkimer diamond and an amazing Moldavite, which would be beautiful together. So hang in there. We'll get it. Hello, Rock family, Professor Shawn, the lovely Raven, and GSN crew. Shawn, your ring is beautiful, and I hope someone in our family is able to get it. Your work is amazing. I often stare at my axonite in awe of your talent and just how perfectly cut that stone is. Harry, I'm praying for you and Susan and your family. Shawn, I wanted to tell you about an experiment I tried the other day using a black light. I love experiments. I have a pair of HD sunglasses that are essentially polarized sunglasses advertised for drivers to reduce headlight glare at night. Sounds like those ones you see on TV. These work well at reducing glare on specimens, especially ones that are mostly white. This worked best under a long wave black light, but short wave also, which I was surprised by. The answers to this week's question are 23 years and Rutile. Stay safe, everyone. Have a great week. Miss Elisa getting the answers right. Great experiment. I love to hear about them. All kinds of things you discover. Miss Penny and Mahalis. Hello, Shawn, Raven, the wonderful GSN crew, and fellow Rockhounds. I hope everybody is well. Thank you once again for another show full of wonderful specimens. Trivia 23 years ago in 1999. And Rutile. No words of wisdom this week, just short and sweet. My pick for specimen of the week is definitely the brookite, followed by the Chinese fluorite. Everybody loved that brookite. Quartz piece. How cool. We wish everyone a great week and see you next week. Penny and Mahalis. Mr. Charles, though, this is him catching up to date wise. Ciao, Professor Shawn, GSN crew, and Rock family. I hope my entries make it to you in time this week. My thoughts go out to Cindy's husband on his knee surgery. Best wishes to them for a speedy and full recovery. Shawn, I would love it if you brought in your fancy voltmeter to show us the piezoelectric properties of some of the specimens. Yeah, that will be fun to do. I will. I'll bring in one of them that works really well. And we've done it before and showed you, and it's really interesting. So I'll try to set something up, and we'll use like apatite and tourmaline and quartz, and show you piezoelectric means, you know, pressing, to press on, which absolutely generates electricity through pressure. It really works. And yeah, I have the voltmeter that measures it. I actually brought it here to Gem Shopping. This was a couple of years ago. And I actually left it here to be passed around because we found out why Asif just kills a watch dead. I mean, you know, you've heard about people who just can't wear battery-operated watches. He had I think, negative, which you can be a cation person, in other words, someone carrying a positive charge, or an anion person, someone carrying a negative charge. And so his negative charge was one of the highest readings I've ever had for a negative body electrical charge. So remember, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if there's a positive, there's a negative. So yeah, if people, we're not all walking around with positive electrical energy. Some are negative and some are neutral. But it was really neat because they passed the voltmeter around to different people, and I think a lot of people really learned a lot just by saying that we do carry an electrical charge in us, and why then, if you link that to the metaphysical world of rocks and minerals, you can start to actually see why not only the ancient people, but the metaphysical community now has a strong belief in the effect of rocks and minerals on the body as related to, you know, scientific components. I see that some of these things could be real and positive. One note I just was thinking of in reading this, and I hope maybe she's listening at least. We haven't heard from Miss Ursula. Say your prayers. That's kind of curious about that and unusual. So I know that she was older and had some issues, so thoughts and prayers to Miss Ursula. That just kind of came to me as in talking about electrical energy. You never know how it's transformed. Okay, so here's how it goes, Charles. What we do when everybody looks like everybody got the answers right. When we have a bunch of right answers, we assign a number to each of the person with the correct answer. We put them in a proverbial hat and pull out the proverbial number, which usually amounts to me asking whoever is next to me to pick a number between 1 and whatever it may be, the total number of right answers, and that's how we determine it. It is magical because that way it is the Mother Nature giving us the answer, and it has been incredibly unusual to see the pieces matched up with the person be so appropriate sometimes, or exactly something they don't have, or, you know, like I said, George is one of the best ones who I gave him what he won as a trivia gift was a ironstone carving of a black bear, and he lives in Mississippi off of Black Bear Road. I mean, and it goes on many times. So we did it this week, and as fate, call it whatever else you want, magic, spiritual healing, things are needed. Our new member won. Charles, congratulations. Let's show you what you have won. You have a amazing specimen straight from my Made in America collection. So Charles, being new, and anyone else listening, you may not be familiar with exactly my line of collecting since the age of 11. The two things I focused on over the many years was my Birthstone, which is garnet. 6-member garnet member families, no real synthetics available. It's right down my alley. Each garnet looking different. What a perfect item to collect. Gave me lots and lots of different choices and paths to go down in collecting without ever getting boring about the garnet member. And all the members of the garnet families. The other one was specimens that, as I say, were made in America, which included Alaska. In other words, specimens that came from the United States. And this happens to be from that collection, Connecticut Pyrite. And it is striking. This, people don't realize that Connecticut and New Jersey actually have some of the best basalt quarries that rival India's. And so you can see the basalt. Look at the quality of the prehnite. There's also calcite that is often found with these. And also, if you look carefully, there can be Calcopyrite mixed in. It's from Hartford County in Connecticut. So if you have any connection back to Connecticut, let us know. Let us know if there's any magic. Look at the really cool, not only the crystals, but the little spherules of really nice quality material as well. This is where you get some magnification and optimizer, and you just start looking down and around, in between and in. There's a crystal for you right there of some kind or another. So anyway, as the magic of the show would have it, being a new member to the family, we welcome you. And with that welcoming comes this gift that we have chosen for you. No, that the universe, the higher powers to be, have chosen for you. And we hope you're a member of the family for a long time, and glad that you did a little looking and discovered us, and also learned how to bezel set a ring along the way. Take all of these into a, well, I call it the closet, because that's where I go. And check them, use the black light. There's no telling what other goodies you can find when you're talking about items. Remember, you have Franklin, New Jersey, which is world famous for its fluorescent specimens. So amazing things can actually come out of those places that you don't normally think they can. All right, let's tuck this away. We'll be right back with the start of the show. Okay, I have a, a goodie. This is March's Birthstone Aquamarine. So 1/12 of all of you out there will have this amazing gem as your birthstone. Now, remember, when it comes to crystals and all this stuff, well, first let me say this. When it comes to aquamarine, I have literally heat treated for other Brazilian dealers thousands of carats of aquamarine after they were faceted. Very low breakage rate. Most of them had some like very slightly distinguishable veil inclusions like it can have. And it was amazing, because I took pictures before and after, to see. I actually had to do it in 2 batches, so I was able to actually do it to where one side you could see the original color, and the other side of the picture, I had a batch that I had done. So I created it so I could take the before and after in one shot. And I was really impressed. It really works. How heat treating aquamarine makes that secondary tone of green disappear. Well, all these items you're going to see in aquamarine are all natural color, and none are treated. So you get to see the secondary color tone of green. In this crystal, you can see some etching, but you can see, okay, so it's etched out, but you can see the beautiful crystal face, and then look at the white. What happens is other minerals decide to grow into those etched out areas. And sometimes aqua will grow back in. Well, as we know, sometimes tourmaline, in this case, feldspar, other times calcite. This has, I saw a wonderful iris, an iris being a rainbow, a prism. It has a fantastic termination. Now, here's the thing. When you look at it like this, you think, oh, this broken part is missing. Absolutely not. You can see that complete face right there. This is actually, the crystallographers could actually name and tell you what exact type of termination with the little pinacoid, you know. There's so much science to that. I wanted to be a crystallographer at one point, but I knew that was even going to be kind of difficult for me. A lot of science goes into that, more so than you ever think. All right, this beauty, you can see how big it is. There's a really nice clean area in it at the termination, and I have this for you on sale. It'd make a wonderful, easy to drill pendant, an easy piece to wire wrap if you do that yourself, or just a wonderful display specimen. Price on it, it is sale priced at, and even less than it ever has been. How about this? If you waited, you did well. $24. $24 on that. Now, 107-63-22. All right, so some of these things, as you hear, take a moment to wrap and unwrap because, of course, it is, sometimes crystals are fragile. And sometimes they're real fragile. Look at this beauty. Look at this. Okay, look at the two different colors. I always like to do that for a moment when they contrast like that. It helps you actually see the actual color of each one. You actually see the color of the tourmaline, of the aqua. And you can see the color of the calcite, that incredible pink material in the calcite. When it's pink, what do we call it? Manganoan, or manganese calcite. You know, the word they give to it when it has the manganese content is manganoan. This happens to be from Peru, and it often will have a strong fluorescence, as is the case in this one. In this one also, you get a couple of different habits or forms of calcite. And you have, look at this, you have additional mineralization there. Now, this is your classic monoclinic crystal form right there. These fluoresce, all of them, incredible fluorescence in this piece. Then over here, you can see that there is crystal formations that aren't of that same shape. Plus, see these little dark specks? Most likely, they're going to be, there's some more. And let me see if I notated that. Yeah, so they're usually Calcopyrite, sometimes marcasite, but I would say they're Calcopyrite. So strong orange fluorescence from the Pachapacuy mining district. And you have, it looks like maybe some feldspar or, oh, look at that, going in between, how cool. Maybe some white calcite. But there's some exploring left for you to do. A great piece if you do not have a representation of Manganoan calcite. Price on it, if I've showed it before, you know I usually bring it back unless I have a final price when I tell you to start with. If it survives not being sold already, I usually, if I can, make it less the second time around. In this case, I am going to make it less Making it only $24. Now, to make it less, what I mean is, because I never start high, and I'm always less than you can ever find these anywhere else. It was $28. It was a great value at $28. So if someone had paid, $28 to start with, they would have gotten a fantastic deal right then. If I show it again, then yeah, I can save you a few bucks, but none of the items you're going to get a huge discount, unless it might be on some pieces that are I want to move and are really a higher end piece, something like that, which I have that multi-pound emerald specimen I'm considering doing. Let's look at another. This was a trivia question. If I said, what is my favorite mineral due to its name, telling you the chemical makeup of it, what would that be? Well, it would be item 1076722. 1076722. And to me, I would actually like to facet a piece of this due to the color, but I have never seen a crystal large enough. But I'm sure people have, and I'm sure that they, somewhere there is a Calcopyrite crystal large enough. Now, let me show you. Again, look at the contrasting colors. Look at that blue. Look at the pink. All right, this is like a little grotto. And what they actually do is, because these form in kind of a rhyolite or basalt, in this case it's basalt, there's lots of pockets. So what they'll do is they'll extricate them from the pockets, and when they remove the excess material from the outside of the little vug, they often will make it so that it displays on its own. And you know how much I like that. So if they're going to do that, yes, make it very cool like this one is, which sits up like a little, like a grotto. Now, as we look closer at the Calcopyrite, the incredible still bite really, really shows off and sparkles. But look at that. Look at this particular crystal. You don't really notice it again until this is when you get your really magnification out, and you can, get some fantastic looks, and then see these crystals. Some of them are just facet grade quality clean, but not quite big enough to do anything with. But wonderful, wonderful piece. Still bite, there'd probably be maybe some calcite in there, but there's certainly areas for you to explore, especially on the outside. But you start with, again, get all your equipment out. And for me, all my equipment includes the Geiger counter. Probably almost everything I think I've ever shown you, if I suspect, which would also include these specimens, that it could be have a response on the Geiger counter at all. I've checked them. So, I have to be honest, there's been a couple specimens I have not offered for sale because I'm not going to sell something with a 1,000 CPM count, or even something that's 500 or 600, which is counts per minute, which is, when you hear the little, on a Geiger counter, that's what it's doing. It's counting how many little things hit the little detector. And but that's why I have it. I love it. I love my Geiger counter. I have discovered some mineral specimens that it's like, oh, what in the world is this? And can't sell this. I have those together now behind a lead shield. No, I found out malachite actually works really well for shielding against those kind of things. Anyway, here's a cool Calcopyrite in a grotto. I am going to make this actually, by way of percent, a big discount and do it for $18. $18. That should get someone's interest for sure, to get a neat little grotto specimen like that. Is a cool treasure for not a lot of money. So Yeah, the Raven's actually working a live show upstairs at this moment. But at the moment you're watching my show, you can't see her because, of course, this is recorded. So she was here. That's why the backdrop looks so great. And then she went on to one of her many other duties here at Gem Shopping. She's been a great component of the network here for a long time by my side and by many of the other vendors' side. She is desired as an employee more so than me. I think she's more useful. I only have knowledge. She has skills. Great gal. I wish you could actually see her because she has a Halloween outfit on today, basically. And she's been, you have to see it to believe it. She's rocking it out. All right, so I'm actually talking like that because I am killing time as I am organizing these things in front of me. Did you catch that? And maybe that's why Charles says amusing, to show that I'm amusing. I'll still take that as a compliment. You know what I just did? One of my favorite things to do is to put the wrong thing in the wrong bag, and then that's when the Raven scolds me. So I will straighten that out. But in the meantime, let me show you this. This. Okay, I couldn't believe it. Okay, item number 1065122. 1065122. That this piece did not find a home. Look at this. And look at the color. Talk about army green. That is army green. This is one of the coolest chlorite in quartz pieces I've seen. And the green is actually, it's a really nice, attractive, better green than really what you're seeing now. Remember, I have mentioned to everyone before that green that I have discovered is one of the most difficult colors to be able to shoot for some reason, for cameras to be able to actually capture the color. Look at this, look at the terminations. Some it does well. That is like exactly the color of, you see, don't have the ruby ring on. It's available though. You actually do me a favor if you take advantage of it and add it to an amazing gem collection, which is what you'd be doing if you get that ruby. Look at that on a white quartz base. So chlorite, of course, is another mineral that has it's a big, broad general name for a lot of other minerals that fall underneath chlorite. And it's often found as an inclusion in quartz, and it can be many different forms in that inclusion. You've also seen it in clinochlor, like clinochlor. That's a type of chloride, the clinochlor found with the sphene. And there we go. That is now exactly the color we're looking for. Magical Dave and his camera just did something that made all the difference in the world. Look at these crystals and look at down in the pockets. As Dave actually saw the compliment again. Someone wrote in, I think it was Harry, mentioned how it was amazed how Dave could take us deep into the little pockets and vugs of specimens and find things that we would have never known were there if he didn't do that. Look at that. It almost looks like a temple. And you could walk back in there. Oh yeah, I got my Indiana Jones hat on. Whoa, what do we have here? What are these other seeming crystals? I don't know. They look like other, they are. Probably little quartz. Clear areas. You could actually see some clear areas right there. So if I put a light through it, light would actually pass through there, and you'd be able to get a better idea that the chlorite is not a solid material all the way through the quartz. And that's showing you right there that, even better yet, look at that. So that tells you everything, because now you can see that the chlorite is inhabiting the quartz crystal's body. Thank you, sir. And this is the fun you can have at home, okay? Don't let me just do it here for you. Get the flashlights out at home, put them in the backlight, you know, have your optivisor on, create all those magnificent views that we show you here, you can duplicate at home. This piece is a real goodie and shouldn't be discounted from what I have the price for at all. But I'm going to anyway. Okay, now, putting a final on this one makes it only $22. And that means I am not going to go lower, no matter what you do to me. Not going lower than $22 on it. And if you collect quartz at all, you have to have this specimen like this of the chlorite from Pakistan, because there's nothing else like it. And it really shows well when you have one like this, because the crystals of quartz in themselves are unique and different, because you see they're growing on a different, flat across one of the axes. Look at this one. See that? That's a crystal. So completely unusual habit of the quartz, and then add the chlorite to it as well. So, yep, a good one there. Now, speaking of quartz, 1080622, here is another form of it. Chalcedony. If you look up Chalcedony, you'll see that it's pretty much just a cryptocrystalline quartz. In other words, it's crystals, but they're so small, they're crypto, that you can't see them. So, without, you know, lots of magnification. And this is a collection that you have not seen before. You've seen some of these, but you have not seen this particular one that I have put together. It is a rare color of chalcedony. It is the blue-gray material. And so they form, some look like giraffes or animals, different ways, but they call them and refer to them as like stalactites, or sometimes straw specimens. Here, look at this one. When you have, this has a beautiful, beautiful stilbite crystal on it. And look at that formation. And you can see that to me, they formed as a stalactite. Now, remember how I taught you to remember the difference between a stalactite and a stalagmite. And believe it or not, my mom taught me this at a young age, how to know which was, what does she know about rocks and minerals or whatever? But you know, my mom, as my dad, both very, very, very intelligent people that I was fortunate to come from. So my mom, she said, remember it this way, stalactite is spelled with a C. Remember C for ceiling. So you have to know how to spell ceiling correctly, right? Not with an S, with a C. C for ceiling. So stalactites grow from the ceiling. Stalagmites with a G, meaning just associated the G with the word ground. Stalagmites grow from the ground up. Stalactites from the ceiling down. And I've never forgot it. Never forgot it. All right, so this looks like a little Loch Ness monster. This one, what a neat display you could do however you want. Part of the deal also here is another nice long straw of blue chalcedony. I think it's Miss Gabby again that has one of only. I have the other one. I think it was only 3 total. Incredible large cabinet quality size with stilbites, I believe. Blue-gray, except more blue. A lot more blue color, chalcedony, intermingled crystal growth specimen, wonderful, wonderful, incredible piece. And I may bring in the other one actually to sell. And then I won't have one, but that's okay. Gotta do what I gotta do. All right, there's another piece. So this is a 4-piece collection. And when you have that many to work with, you can easily put them together to create something really attractive. Look at that. That's even on, you know, you can use the, I call it the goop, you know, that sticky stuff that to make things stay in place if you want. You can create your own formation with 4 pieces very easily and have a look of whatever you want, because you know what? The way they would be found would be very much like that. They're in these kind of spaghetti formations. All right, so price on all 4 pieces, an excellent opportunity for someone, $34. Only $34. So that's like $8.50 a piece. And these are old, and it's from a specific locality, and that color is very limited. All right, let me have one moment, get some of these precious things tucked away. I'll be right back. Okay, if you haven't seen a specimen like this, it may look like a porcupine, it may look all kinds of different ways to you, but what you are basically looking at, and you can see it is in the description, and maybe one of the first zeolites you've ever seen that is of museum quality and grade. This is considered actually a large cabinet specimen. You can see the size it is compared to my hand. Now I have it just sitting on one of those little inexpensive tripod stands that can come with it, but it actually displays it nice. It doesn't take away from the specimen. This is one of the I guess one of the finest representations of scolecite. Now, I have had a few of these over the years that I've parted with. And like I said, I mentioned our dining room table. I can't move the table or anything because I wouldn't know what else to do with this amazing scolecite specimen that's even bigger than anything else that we've ever sold or shown. It's actually too big for me to even bring in and attempt and put it on poor Andy and his shipping department to ship. These have been enough, but he has had such great luck, I told him, and has done so well with shipping the other couple of ones that I've had that have sold that I said, Andy, I got another one coming. So I've shown this. I still have it. That means if you gambled and were waiting for it to be less expensive, I'm gonna put it on sale. Now, relative to what, you know, it's not an inexpensive specimen, especially if you research these and see what something of this quality sells for. You would feel really good about what I'm offering it for. I made an amazing deal a number of years ago. I caught this dealer at the right time. The season had kind of passed. He had these scolecites, and my in-between broker said, Shawn, you're the only one that could use this many, you know, because of the TV show. Pieces of this, and I'm offering them to you first. Do you want these? And he had pictures, and that all these items I was only able to buy from pictures, and I mean still pictures. So all of you at least get to buy on, let's see, for your senses, you have the sense of sound, and you have, that's about it. So no, you can't touch them, you can't smell them, you can't hear them, you know, but at least you get the sense of movement and relative size. I got dimensions in the metric system and still pictures to make my decision on from only one direction. Well, let me give you the full tour of this piece. As Dave is already taking you on it, you can see there are so many different levels of growth. What you think is another mineral is just the scolecite at a different point of its growth. But But as zeolites are known to have, it has other zeolites. And it's up to you to discover the other ones. There's stillbites, and we're going to show you those, or you may see them as Dave takes you on a worldly tour of this piece. Now, as we look right down here, here are the stillbites. Here are some of the stillbites right there. But then look at on the stillbite, you have these incredible, look at that, incredible growth of the scolecite. Look at the different, look at the smaller scolecites down there. Then you have, look at the crystallization. Now I'm putting this in my hand, and I'm showing you that this is not as fragile actually as it looks. I could actually turn this upside down, which I may do, and put it on the crystalline. Look at this formation right here. Look, this is what I think is so beautiful about these kind of pieces, is the intersecting growth of the different crystals. So look at this, shooting right up here, through here, at a completely different formation, direction. Look at this little cluster. Look at that. So how does that happen when you have everything? You have then this other little renegade group of crystals that growing in another direction. Look at it straight down. There's another one of them. Now, when you see the ones with a little bit of a reddish tint, that is hematite formations. Everywhere you look, there is something magnificent to notice and explore. And there is so many different angles. It is really an endless amount of time you could spend. Look at this. So there's a stillbite right there, hidden amongst the scolecites as it comes out. There's another one back here. Look at nestled down in, there we go. Look at that. That's what makes this museum quality, is on many, many different levels and layers of growth. You can find interesting aspects to it. Now, as we continue to rotate this, look at this formation coming across the top. That's when I have seen other high-end mineral specimens, that's the way they look. They have all these other cool angular features to these other minerals and all this, like, and I always say, wow, that's cool. I wish I could have a specimen like that. Well, I do, and I'm holding it. I'm holding it. Look at all the different directions of growth. Oh, it is endless, the beauty that this radiates. And if you read about the zeolites, you know, and hear us talk about them, you'll realize that what makes them up is a very porous chemistry, which allows, depending on the size openings between the molecular cages they form, can trap different size contaminants or pollutants, and thus they have been figuring out more and more uses for them, from trapping oil, spilled oil, to other spilled chemicals. They can, depending on the zeolite or the mineral used, control the what's accepted and passed through the material and what is held back. Look at this. Look at this. And now, flipping this completely upside down, showing you that, look at this, on my hand, I am not kidding you. Yeah, it is not as fragile as you may think, which is a good thing. These are all stillbites. You can see. Now, amongst the stillbite, I have not looked really closely, but there is every possibility, not just amongst the stillbite, but amongst the scolecite as well, that there are other zeolites. As a matter of fact, there's most likely. There's probably laumentite. Laumentite is one that you can probably, look at that. Look at that. You know, there's so many angles on this piece I haven't even seen. I see some Chalcedonite, but that's not a zeolite. It is one amazing, look at how large that is. Amazing piece that is simply breathtaking in the world of gems and minerals. It's specimens like these are the ones that, you know, when people see them, they say, what? You know, it really gets, even if you don't like rocks and minerals, it's pieces like this that really draws people to them and to the wonder of nature and rocks and minerals. Like, look at this one, just this one little area catches my eye, and I don't know why. It's just with the stilbite, when you have that other beautiful, beautiful little formation of scolecite growing off of the stilbite. I don't know it. And then look at those protected crystals, those small, slender ones down there amongst the larger. Yeah, I'm sure there's lomentite in this. The crystals can look similar, but the terminations are angular, if you remember, and can be spotted once you know what you're looking for. But I don't want to have all the fun in finding everything. I'm going to leave that up to the lucky person that gets in on this, because I am sale pricing it. Like, see that? I just noticed the light coming right across there as Dave takes us into what I am looking at. I mean, what made it think it could just grow in that direction completely across without getting permission from all the others? I mean, I don't know. It's just like a rebel crystal. And that is really unusual. Okay, so let me tuck this back away on its stand. And let's see, that's where Raven was so much better at doing these things. So I let her do them all at home. She gets to do them all, but she does them in a way that if I even move them the littlest bit, she knows. She knows if I touch the specimen. You've been messing with the specimens again, Shawn. She's a mess. I call her, she's a Mesosaurus. This ancient dinosaur, a Mesosaurus. This probably is the name of a dinosaur called Mesosaurus. That's what I call it. All right, so it's sometimes easier to do this and then turn this. I just want to show you right in here, in this one little area. As I look at this with my eye, just look at that. Look at how attractive, look at that stunning that is. All these little growths, and you're looking at only a tiny fraction of this stunning specimen. But that's what these kind of specimens can do. There's no part of it that is not eye-catching. This in that display cabinet that had the china that no one looked at, pieces like this, you'll have people just gawking. And then they'll be asking questions. And then you can tell them that they probably use zeolites most every day. Look on your box of you can tell I don't do the laundry in the house. Laundry soap, that's the word. Plus it's the long COVID. I just had many, many days of dealing with it. So still not as sharp as the tack that I usually am. But so yeah, laundry soap. Also, you have, you know that material that releases water at a certain rate, or that you have in certain potting soils? There's zeolites that can release water at certain rates or absorb too much water. There's so many uses for them. And in every chemical formula of a zeolite, the ending formula is a particular number of water molecules. And that's what is the controlling factor for the different varieties, and also for the porous lattice structure of the makeup of those cages, those molecular cages. Anyway, I am going to give someone an opportunity. Scolecite, from the Greek word scolex, meaning worm, and they named it that way because one of the very important tools that they used, and of course I always have a torch going at the bench or whatnot, or close enough to me to use. So scolex means worm in Greek, and it was named that way because of the blowpipe reaction to the crystals. Now you can see that most any time there'll be one or two little crystals that may come off, or they were actually originally still down in amongst those other crystals that might have been there for, ever since it was originally dug, or happened even in the pocket where these grew. So if you take one of the crystals and put it in a blowpipe, it would curl up and look like a worm. And that's how it got its name. So, okay, that gives me some information. That gives me some determinate information. But, of course, what does Shawn have to do? I have to get one of the crystals that had fallen off and put it in my, quote, blowpipe and see if it did what they said it was supposed to do. Well, I guess I wasn't gonna be able to change any names of the scolecite because the old timers figured these things out long before me. And sure enough, it curled up like a worm. So no Shawnacite. Couldn't change the name. No, even though I may curl up like a worm. All right, price on this, it was a really, and if you look this up, it would actually probably be in the range of $900 to $1,200 if you could even find one that had the same kind of quality as this one does. So I had offered it for $438, which was an really discounted opportunity, and as other people like Miss Barbara has said and Miss Gabby has said, just how well priced the zeolites are that I've offered. And I've told you how I got these others in a sea freight shipment, which shipping costs when it comes to the weight of rocks is so high. It actually often is more than the cost of the minerals itself. So if you can get the price down by doing sea freight shipments, and it was like 10 different of us volume moving dealers from the Southeast that were able to go in, and all of us, and buy enough. It took really about a year to get enough opportunities, enough offerings that people would accept, and then for the crates to be packed. It took, after it arrived in New York, to get it on the trucks and separate and shipped out. It was months. So the whole process took a year. From the first batch of material, I said, okay, I'll take that lot. And but the weight was so well worth it in the savings on the cost of shipping. All right, $438. I am a motivated seller due to circumstances in my life, but that's not a reflection on anything you have to worry about, because support your local rock hound, because if you don't, I might eat the wrong rock and poison myself or something, So Charlie Brown, I always thought that he was lucky when he got a rock. I remember as a young boy, it's like, well, what was everyone complaining about? I'd love to be given a rock instead of a piece of candy. Oh, I'm psycho. Okay, here's your opportunity. And there's going to be, those that have bought, I've only offered a few of these, and even at this discounted opportunity, if you already have one, get another one, because it's like buying now a quarter for a nickel. And maybe now you're buying a quarter for a dime kind of deal. Because, let's see, at a huge discount, $338. $338. And this is one of those situations that I want you to go look at pricing opportunities. What something like this scolecite of this quality sells for on in anywhere you want to look. The internet is a great sales tool for me when I can offer something like this at this price and say, go try to find one anywhere even close in that range for money versus quality. And then you'll be breaking open the child's piggy bank to be able, or maybe your grandson's college fund, to be able to get this for a while. Because you know what? When you can buy it at that kind of rate, there's always a market for it later, and without giving up any loss there. So just saying. All right, item number next. Let's look at another incredible zeolite. Item 935020. 935020. And this is a piece that I love because of, okay, let me be careful with this. Take it off that stand since I don't know how. Okay, to put it on there properly. Look at this. Look at this. I love the mint. I love the mint color to the apopholites. That very desirable, very collectible. Now, again, this is another one of the zeolites, but this zeolite has lots of goodies. Okay, so you're learning about zeolites already. Apopholite is another one of the zeolites, and it's going to have a different size molecular cage, and have different chemical uses. So what they've done is they have figured out chemically these different the structures of the different zeolites, and they've been able to synthesize many of them. So what nature gave them the chemical formula, and man then, to be able to have enough material to work with, has learned to be able to create the same formula. And zeolites himself, without having to, try to hunt or destroy beautiful specimens for a particular chemical formula out of them. If you can't, then you go and you crush up apopholites or something like that. Now, mint green apopholite you have on this. This is one of those, okay, my mom, one of 6 kids, highlights. Who remembers the magazine Highlights? I think maybe it still comes out. But there always was this little caption where you had to find so many animals in it or whatnot. Well, I've just grown a little older in what I want to find in my pictures now. And it's like, find the zeolites. Find the different mineral specimens. So we have mint green apopholite. Here, the cream color still bites. Still bites. You can often tell by that arrowhead, that, angled termination to a point. Lomantite is a diagonal termination on a white crystal most often. Then you have your mint green apopholites. Then you also are going to have your just apopholites that don't have the mint green color, but yet still will have a beautiful reflection and crystallography to them. And as we go down into the floor of the specimen, you can see and then look like up underneath crystals. That's where you can find other, because they find, other minerals will find it a safe place to grow, so to speak. It's almost like they have a mind of their own. And you'll find them up underneath other crystal specimens. So don't be afraid to look there when, okay, you're looking for other ones. Look at this. It's things like this. Okay, so here's a stilbite. Now, you have to kind of turn it at the angle to really see what you're looking at. Look at the face of this. It is peppered, so to speak, with crystals of apophyllite. How neat is that? That also shows you how big of a crystal of stilbite that is. Now, this is a wonderful crystal cluster piece, and has, oh, here's the other one. Look at this. Right over here, you have the stilbite crystal. Then look at the mint green apophyllites growing on it. Is that not cool? Now, right down there, that's one of the clear, non-mint green apophyllites. But look at that. It's things like that that really make a crystal specimen a lot more special when you have growth on growth like that. Or look at this. You have a crystal in right there in between a mint green one and a stilbite forming right there in between. How neat is that? And it's only when you take the time to just sit and, I call it just playing with the rocks and my rocks and minerals, and that's what you do. That's how a big way to have much fun with them. So along the edge, look at that. I didn't even know that was in there. Look at that pocket. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Okay, you have to look in there because, I don't know, that looks like some lomentite that might be back in there. So you have to check that out. Look at the green chalcedony, which is a type of mica. That's garnardite, which is another type of zeolite. That's the backside. Ah, I love pocket like that. And I'll just spin this around the edge real quick because there's so much more left for you to explore. And wow, indeed. And then it looks like it's on a quartz crystalline base there, but there could be some need for exploration there. Certainly a piece I would take into the closet and do a UV test on to see what else you can find. This discounted already. I can't believe it did not sell at the last price I had it at, which was only $38. Well, you know what? We can't go much lower than that, guys. I wish I could. Here we go. Final price, $34. $34. I could look at that for a long time. All right, made in America. Item 101, 5021, 101, 5021. And this is one of the greats. One of the greats. And I say that because it is from one of the United States' most well-known deposits in Reynolds County. This is natural color Missouri Calcopyrite. And it is stunning. And if you ever wondered and wanted to know how to tell the difference between pyrite and chalcopyrite, well, get a specimen of each, and you'll be able to tell. If you look at this and you find anything in the form of a cube on it, then it's pyrite. If you see anything that has a form of a triangle on it in any kind of way or shape, then it's chalcopyrite. Now, I have on here that there is calcite. Oftentimes, there's dolomite also for the background crystals. So, fluorescence can often tell the difference, or hardness tests, and looking at the crystal as well. So, look into that and check that probably a little better yourself. It just takes some magnification that I don't have. But let's look at these crystals here. Now, since you're seeing a hodgepodge in this many of shaped crystals, you can't really tell what they are. Well, pyrite always gives itself up real quickly and real easily. If you're having this much trouble trying to find something that looks like a cube, well, most likely it's not pyrite. Look at this. But you start seeing, see this triangle. When you start seeing those triangular formations, then look at triangle. Once you start seeing them, then you really start seeing them. And it's not just triangles. It belongs to the tetragonal group. So look at that. See that triangle. Then you know. Okay, let me point out something else. All right, you see that color, that oxidation? That happens because chalcopyrite is copper and iron and sulfur. Pyrite is just iron and sulfur. With the addition of copper, it causes it to be able to oxidize much more readily. And this is natural oxidation. To be honest, I hate to say it, but many of the specimens from this area in the chalcopyrite, they're heat treated with a, they put a chemical on them and just lightly heat them up in an oven, and it causes them to change into all kinds of colors. Now, not all of them are done that way, but some are, and it's buyer beware. So when you have one like this and you see most of the crystals have no other colors, some of them have some oxidation, you know you're getting original color, no treatments done. If you want to do it, you can actually do it yourself. You can actually do it yourself and do it in your home oven. It doesn't take a high temperature, but anyway, that's enough of that. We don't want to talk about how you can artificially color your minerals. No, that's not what this show is about. We are purists here. All right, so these are very nice, evenly distributed across the face of it. You have this wonderful quartzite that you can see little sparkles coming from it. This sits naturally, just perfectly. You know how much I love that to be so self-displaying. And I don't know. It's kind of neat, though. I just noticed these few crystals on the back. I don't know. I just like odd stuff like that. All right. Look at that. Self-displays. I couldn't have made it display at a better angle than it is right now. Here's the ridiculous price. You ready? Here's the thing. I kind of sometimes wonder, y'all, I am not coming down lower than the price that it is now. There's just no way. But I'm going to show you where we started off and how many times. This is why, I mean, come on. Okay, $68. Cross out. We're down to $21. It's still $21. $21 for that, for a natural piece from a Made in the USA collection. You guys aren't going to make me make it less than that. Surely not. Every time I say that at home, the famous line, of course, don't call me Shirley. That's what Raven always says, don't call me Shirley. All right. I have to, looks like, hand type this in. 715717. 715717. Let me show you what that gets you. This is a beauty, and self-displays also. Okay, let me clean this off a little bit, because rightfully so, Asif is very particular about the way things are showcased, and I really appreciate that part. So I'm trying to beat him to, before he tells me to wipe it off. All right, blue barite. When this discovery was first made in Morocco, it was the hit of really the year for discoveries. These specimens went for a fortune, a fortune. I couldn't afford them at first, and I waited a year, then worked with my Moroccan dealer, and I was able to get them at a much more reasonable price. Look at these. You don't even notice them until you notice them. Now, of course, this is limonite, and this is the limonite. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, well, you know, get a little bit on your hands. It's not as bad as some of the limonite or goethite, though. Look at this. Oh, this might be some of the stuff that really... No, I've actually washed off some of these, so they're not so bad. The blue barite. Look at those crystals. Very, very still hard to find. And I have actually a large specimen I have not brought in that I've been gonna that I'm gonna clean up and bring it in and offer it for sale. And it's really striking. But look at this, self-displays perfectly, and a wonderful, wonderful, rare opportunity to get in on this discovery of material from Morocco. Price on this one, you won't believe it. I am doing a sale, and I just want someone to realize and recognize the value to it. You know the odd thing about barite? It's heavy. It's a very heavy mineral. And it's neat when you read about, you know, barium. And of course, a lot of you may have heard of, you know, barium for, you make you drink barium, and then they do the gastrointestinal test on you. And I don't know, they use it for medical purposes and whatnot. It may be a lot of your only connection to barium. Actually, not far from here, or actually, let's just say far from Atlanta, up in a place called Cartersville, near where the incredible Tellus Mineral Museum is. Cartersville is known, and in that area, built its fortune by a gentleman that discovered barite and mined barite from that area. And there's a long history of barite mining right here in North Georgia, and from where I live, it's not far at all. So, you know, you don't realize what's around you until you start doing some research and on rocks and minerals. I have a book that is, I can't wait to again get back into it with the cool weather now and take some country drives. It's Roadside Geology of Georgia. And it's about the geology, driving along the road. Boy, that's right down my alley. How many stories have I told you about the things I found by road cuts or new subdivisions being broken out and built? Anyway, price on this, so many tales I could tell you if I had time to just sit and be a storyteller before all these events, traveling 6 continents, mines in every one of them, down in Lightning Ridge in Australia. There's stories that have come from every corner that I could share if I only had time. Or before I just don't remember. And my son, who's not a rock hound, I'm just afraid those stories just aren't going to get retained in that amazing brain of his. All right, price on this, let me see. Make it less than it's ever been. $32. How's that? $32. Heartbreaking price right there. All right, I'm going to get hustling here because I want to get as many things before the clock runs out. Okay, you didn't want that quartz. I have items that you have not seen before. Okay, so let's get to it because these are really inexpensive. And now, okay, here, let me show you. This is one with multiples in it. So item 1078622. 1078622. Now, this has a quantity of 5. So you can't pick the individual one, but there are 5 pieces, and you get to get one of them. Or if you want, there's no restrictions. I'll let one person buy all 5 of them. Okay, let me clean this off again. I normally would put on deals like this, but I have a sale going on. And as you see right here, they even have the original price on them. Tourmaline, variety dravite. Now, look at these. Okay, so here's everyone. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, because so many people thought, okay, that's not dravite, they're short. No, you can actually look this locality up. There's been every test done on this material, and it is absolutely chemically dravite. Here's another one of them. And so they're on this quartz matrix. The amazing thing is they're from the Pierpont Powers farm locality. It was a farm. It's this entire hillside that had incredible deposits of, look at this. And the dravite has a certain crystal formula to it too, different than off in the shore. Look at that. That's really, and look at these little white spots. I haven't figured out what those exactly were. Probably just maybe where quartz filled in. Now, it was very rare for any dravite to be found in the matrix. It was mostly just pieces like this. $8 each. What am I going to tell you? It's got a price of $8 and tell you $10? I hope it's went that way. I hope I wasn't supposed to remove those prices. $8 each. Oh my, $8 each? That is incredible. It is genuine. So yeah. So you $8 each if you want all 5. That's only $40 to have a collection like that. Okay, let me set those apart. And okay, so let me go on with my forever rambling story. 107-8822. All right, so where we left off, it was a summer's afternoon, and the sun was setting. We had barely found any material, but then fate stepped in. Rod Serling, I'm not. Okay, let me show you. Here we go. All right, these 5, take advantage of them. I'm moving them off and away. Next, look at this. All right, so as the sun was setting, they hit one amazing piece in matrix with quasi quartz crystals, but more defined, look at this, better defined dravite crystals. As you can see the quartz crystals as well. And as a specimen overall, that's got a pretty nice look. I told you I had found schorl and tourmaline, and once a year I go, road's not far from where I live, and collect alongside the road the pieces that after a year have eroded out because up on above the hill there's a house. So I can only collect in the right away on the road. So every year I get a few pieces of these amazing tourmaline crystals. I'd love to have brought my tractor in and dug it out, but no. And I just only discovered it by driving along a country road slowly. Why not? It was a beautiful country road, and there was absolutely no one on the road. There was no one back where I, yeah. And I knew what I was looking for. But how many people could do that? So these things are there. You just have to be the one that spots them. All right, this specimen, only $12. Only $12. So a wonderful item in matrix from a place that the specimens are rare to be in matrix. 107-8722. 107-8722. And same price. I'll already tell you. It is another one of them. And let's see. I believe maybe there's one more. Let's look at this. Look at this one. Again, specimens from this location are rare to be found with any kind of, in any kind of matrix. You know, in other words, the quartz crystals with them. Mostly they were like the first batch I showed you of pieces that were predominantly just dravite. This one, you can see, has a nice size to it. You can see quartz crystals on it, around it, and some nice well-formed dravite. Same price, $12. The only one left. Let's see what we have. It is, let me get it out, get to the item number. Item number 107-9022. 107-9022. And, all right, also has a label and a box with the label in it. And let's look at the specimen. This is the biggest one of them. And quite a nice shape and combination to the crystals. Yeah, this is actually pretty nice. And it actually has been sawn across the bottom. So you get to kind of see a cross section of what's inside. And you can see the crystalline growth kind of interspersed with some of the quartz, which can affect some of the crystals. But this has a really nice development and shape. And look at, that doesn't look anything like shoral tourmaline, does it? No. That's one of the primary things that kind of set it apart. It looks more like Uvite, which is that green tourmaline from Burma I have had pieces of before. Price on this one, only $15. So to get the best one I have, only $15. I don't know. I got this material a long time ago. I'm not sure, you know, even what I paid for it. It's one of those kind of deals. But so I just made it what I felt was appropriate. So, you know, shoral is a magnesium bearing. To go back to a word that I think it was Brad originally had brought the word to us, or was it Barbara? The Usambara effect. This material, you know, would have that effect if it was of that kind of quality. It was named in 1833 by someone we know. We know someone that old? No. Someone we're familiar with, Gustav Schermack of Schermakite fame. It was named for a river that in Latin is pronounced Drave, and it was in Slovenia where the type locality is. So it's technically a magnesium-bearing shoral. So it's related to shoral, but with the presence of magnesium in the mineral world makes it a different mineral. All right, let me have a moment. I'll be right back. All right, you've probably seen these before, but maybe you have actually never seen one up close and personal being described and talked about by me. Okay. These go for big money. And the pyrite cubes you often see that are loose have come from this locality. This is the Spanish pyrite and Marlstone, which is a very soft type of material. It is from the Victoria mine. And what occurs and what happens is these crystals molecularly just have formed and aren't attached to the Marlstone in any kind of way that holds them in place. So I had, for Kevin and the guys in shipping and whatnot, I had to create a piece of tape to go over that crystal to show in case it comes out, because guess what? It does. Look at that. Look at that. And I didn't want them freaking out thinking they broke my specimen, anybody back there. So I already had that. And because also, okay, we talk about the isometric crystal system that pyrite belongs to, which means equal sides. Okay, so basically cubes, but they're not always perfect cubes. They're just squarish or rectangular-ish. So this turned this way won't fit. There is how many different combinations of ways that could go in there? Many different, enough that you could get quite frustrated in doing it. But look at that. Look at that pyrite crystal. That is its natural sides, its natural shininess. This was not polished. This, and actually though, if they ever do become dull, you can just pretty much just wipe them with your finger like that, or a cloth with a little bit of soap, whatever. Look at these. Look at these sides. This is really amazing. And all right. And look at how it was found. Now, some are held in better than others. This is a fantastic specimen. You can see potentially other pyrite kind of growths or partial or ORE type of formations. The Marlstone, this material, you could literally take a knife and carve it. It's that kind of thing. But it also can develop breaks and fall apart, so to speak, easily. That's why so many of these you see offered for sale individually. Now this is a large one. The larger they are, the more valuable they are. The more perfectly cubic they are, the more valuable they are. See this? The more, I guess, the less, not damaged, but the more imperfect the crystal, the less valuable they are. So this is, in the world of pyrite, a very well-formed, nice shape overall piece. And to have it where it comes in and out of the Marlstone in itself, I have to figure out, it makes it even more attractive, because that way your friends and neighbors can, you can make like they broke it. No, how mean that would be, but fun nonetheless. And, you know, after you tell them that, yeah, this is worth $2,500, and then have it fall out on. I can see all kinds of fun party jokes with that, and I think someone's having one on me, because I'll figure that out later. Later. You can see now why I put tape on it. Anyway, there it goes. There it goes. When it fits right, it just, boom, Mother Nature goes perfectly. Look at how amazing that is for, it's almost like a living, breathing specimen. And, you know, it makes me, you can see where another one was there. It makes me wonder what other things lie within. And, you know, because even they you know, they're small. I've seen them just, you know, real tiny crystals from there. So most likely there's another one hidden in there somewhere. Anyway, goes for big money. I am going to discount this. And here we go. I offered it once before, but only one time before. It didn't sell. So what I gave it to you at that price was an amazing deal. But when it doesn't sell, and if you're willing to gamble and it makes it through it, the next time around, you get an even better deal. Ready, set, big discount right now. Marking this one down. It was $148, well worth that. Don't want to show it again. Make it $98. $98. And you get the pyrite cube with the arrow instruction with it. Oh, could you see the fun you could have, especially with the friend you don't like, when they break your pyrite cube. All right, let me show you. Okay, we got a couple more minutes. We got a couple. I can get a couple more in. Now here's the fun thing. For me, I get to come back in a couple of days and record the show on Thursday. So I am working up already the items for that show. And you know what I asked? And she actually has hidden from me, but I think she actually doesn't know where they are. She was so afraid a while back that I was going to sell, and I'm talking about a few years, that she hid our museum quality gem silica specimens from the Ray mine. I am not kidding you. And I said to her this morning that it was time for us to part with them, and she needed to find them. I said, or else you know how I will be looking through the house for them while you're gone. Now see, when I say something like that, that drives her nuts, because she knows I will be looking through everything. That's touching her all over rocks and mineral specimens, and she does not like that. So I am goading her in to finding my gem silica specimens that she hid from me. I mean, it's not like they were hers. No, they weren't. Actually, they were mine. But I don't have any problems with it. I'm fully healthy about it all. Okay, let me show you something. Item 107-1522. Some of these things are wrapped up. It says what they are, and I know, okay, but I have no idea really what they look like until I unwrap them. So sometimes they go right back in the little bag because it's not what I want to show at the moment. Okay, this happens to be something I want to show at the moment because it has multi-functions. Bahia, Brazil, Fuchsite, and you got to get that right. Fuchsite, and named after a gentleman named Fuchs. And one of those you got to be careful in pronunciation. This is, now you know what Fuchsite is. It is a type of mica. It is a type of chromium-bearing mica, if I can remember that right. This piece is stunning because it's polished on both sides. Kyanite. And it's obvious when you see the kyanite. Elongated crystals. Kyanite, often found with this. Look down in here, okay? There is other goods down in there. Now, you know, this is not just Fuchsite because I see it here, but there is a lot of other mineralization going on. I mean, what are the black? It's probably in the amphibole group, so it's probably a hornblende, maybe an augite, something like that. Look at this, polished on both sides. Polished on both sides. So what does this make it? It makes it a wonderful, wonderful piece to put other specimens on. A incredible display slice. So anyway, what you know, can't believe it was a really beautiful piece, especially with the kyanite in it and the discount it. Okay, I'll get over it. All right, big time discount. Big discount I'm talking about. I should just keep it for this. Make it only $22. $22. Every penny in... Dave, can you come right here for a moment? That 22 might be changed in a moment. There is, to my eyes, these are actually purplish color. Not quite sure, but it's not Fuchsite and it's not kyanite. Something there. Okay, $22 anyway, and let me know if you find out it's something wonderful. Look at all the crystals back in there. So take something and, you know, a brush, clean that out. Clean that out. If this doesn't sell, that's exactly what I'm doing. There is something going on, and you can tell I haven't messed with it. I haven't improved it. I haven't cleaned it out. There's an undiscovered, or maybe something waiting to be discovered. Every day with these rocks and minerals, like a trip through the Twilight Zone, one of my favorite ever shows. Dealt with really issues in life then that are pertinent to today. And so, okay. Let me how she keep showing you. A couple items real quick. 1050722. 1050722. And I'm showing you this now because it goes really well if our new member to the rock family, Mr. Charles, would like to get in on because in this show, everything is possible. You may see that, $4,000, $5,000 ruby ring, and the next item might be a $9 piece of malachite or something. Yeah, we have fossils. We do it all. All right, check this out. Check this out. This would go great with that free specimen that he won, the prehnite. But this is Mali prehnite. Mali, Africa, one of the best sources for incredible prehnite specimens. We've had them here before. All right, I already offered this as low as $28, which is the final price. That was less than $4 a carat or $5 a carat. I think that's kind of crazy, but here we go, $24. The other was the final price. I don't know what it makes this price, but let me hold it in my hand. Prehnite is always a hazy type of color, kind of like rose quartz. That's why they often will checkerboard cut it, because it will add a little bit of brilliance to the piece. This is a nice, clean piece of prehnite, and prehnite has a fairly decent hardness to it. Has one little inclusion over here. I tell you what, because I just saw that, make it $18. $18. As long as it doesn't mess the screenshot up. Wow. All right, I think we have time for one more item. This is one I couldn't believe. There might be a reason. No, I'm not even going to show you. You didn't buy the citrine for $9, all those citrines. I can't offer that any less, so. Madagascan labradorite. You saw that spectralite. Did anyone get that spectralite? If you didn't, you, of Ravens, that would be a silly move not to get. Okay, here we go. Here's a good one to end with. 107-2122. 107-2122. And this is some old stock. And it is cat's eye chrysoberyl, except it's not like the Tanzanian cat's eye chrysoberyl or some of the other chrysoberyls. This is the good stuff going way back. It is salon material, and let me just show you. Look at, here is your best color, your milk and honey. So you have a body color of what looks like a honey color. The milk name is derived from the eye, and you can see that. Then this piece, you can see the eye right there, down through the middle of a nice high dome, and then this one, another. Look at that. Might want to even play around and facet it if you wish. But another wonderful eye. Cat's eye chrysoberyl, especially salon material, can be expensive. These, I tell you what, I am going to offer them at a really amazing deal. They were only $12 a carat, which is really inexpensive, but let's make them, how about this? Make it less than $8, make it $19. $19 for the three. And that way, if you don't have a cat's eye crystal barrel, you can add one to your collection for only $19. Okay, that's going to wrap it up. We'll be right back with the trivia question. So, Charles, don't go anywhere. Get your pen and paper ready. You can use notes and all, but you cannot rewind or fast forward to get the answer. Just go with your memory. That's the whole idea about learning. And what we like to do in this show is for you to learn and to come away with that knowledge that is retained. All right, be right back. What a surprise. I literally, just as I was getting ready to start the trivia shot, Raven walked down, and this had come in from Mr. Anthony. In a big way, I am glad I didn't attempt to show you a picture on the phone. I had no idea that he was sending me. Remember a couple in the last show, I talked about how he cut a thunder egg open. A thunder egg. And of course, you know, someone like Mr. Charles might be real familiar with this material because many thunder eggs come from Oregon. And Charles, our new member of the rock family, is an Oregonian. Now, this is stunning, Mr. Anthony, and I cannot thank you enough. I have never been so lucky as to cut into something like this and end up with such a well-detailed and obvious impression of a cat. And this is completely natural, completely natural. And here's the other side. So which that even looks animal-like. And probably the next slice, I hope, Mr. Anthony, that you get a cat as well. Because to give this up, that's a real treasure. That's a real treasure. That is a lifetime keeper, especially since we have an adopted outdoor kitty that someone moved and left their animal behind. Can you believe that? So we couldn't bring it inside, but Raven, who has never known an animal she didn't love and adore, well, they weren't telling me, but I found out they were secretly already feeding it. We had already taken in the cat years ago, and before I realized it, Summer skipped her day of school because the mother cat had kittens she found, and it was a winter day, and so she had to create this whole bed. And next thing I knew, we had 8 kittens in the house, and of course had to keep them long enough until they were able to be given away. And when it was the things those girls have done when it's come to animals, the love for animals that they have is tremendous. So this is perfect all the way around. And Anthony, if you if you noticed, I am actually, and this is the magic of the show, I am wearing your pendant that you had made for me, which my totem animal happens to be an owl. So Mr. Anthony made an owl with my birthstone with Savorite eyes, and that's what I am wearing today because I thought it would go well with my green shirt. So, you know, the energy was there. I got a chance long enough to look at that item closer in regards to your questions about the material. And I am completely familiar with the portion that makes up the cat. It's a type, what they used to call, and I'm talking about, this is in when I worked at the rock shop in Sarasota, Florida, 1975, 74. And we would get in bigger pieces of it. And with that very distinct pattern of the red intermingled with the basically quartz, what you're looking at is a iron oxide, hematite, let's call it. And we called it, it was called at the time flame agate, not fire agate, flame agate, for the look of the way the red discoloration was intermingled and dispersed. It looks like flames. And so it was called flame agate with the quartz in there. It is not, I would not consider it a jasper. Jasper is, of course, a broad name for a lot of different things. So it was known to us as flame agate. That's going to be treasured, Anthony, and I can't thank you enough. Rock on. Rock on. Thank you, sir. That's beautiful, and that's going to be enjoyed by the entire family. Okay, everybody ready for their trivia questions? Okay. Now, again, you can use notes you take during the show, but no fast forwarding or forwarding. Use your memory. Practice retaining what you hear. And it'll come to you. And I make the questions pretty easy. We won't get into anything like subduction in geology or ionic transference or F color center. All right, here we go. Question number 1. What element is present in dravite that separates it from being a shoral tourmaline? So remember, we talked about dravite. Just like the many, if you're familiar with the tourmaline family, there's everything from lidocotite, named after one of the original founders of GIA, elbaite, which was named after the island of Elba in the Mediterranean. And so you have uvite, I mentioned that earlier, or is that as being another unusual look. So there's a lot of other names for tourmaline based on the chemical composition, just like garnet. So again, what element is present in dravite that basically makes it dravite? But since it looks so similar in color, the question is, what element is present in dravite that separates it from being a shoral tourmaline? Question number 2. I mentioned a member of the chlorite family that is associated with the sphene specimens that you have seen a number of over the years that are from Pakistan. What is the name of that chlorite family member that I mentioned? Now, chlorite, of course, is a big, broad family group. And the name I'm looking for has many other, I was reading through them, you wouldn't know it by the many other pseudonyms over the years given to it. So I don't think you will come up with one of those. But over the years, there's been many other names attributed to it. It's the most common of the chlorite group minerals and is the one that I mentioned today and the one that I've mentioned many other times in showcasing showcasing sphene specimens. So don't go running to your sphene specimen and looking on the tag. You're supposed to remember on that sphene specimen all the other minerals that were on it when you purchased it. It'll come to you. Just stop and think. I use the old A, B, C thing, going through the alphabet and thinking if the beginning of one of the letters will click and bring back something I had forgotten. It often works. Again, so I mentioned a member of the chlorite family associated with sphene specimens that I have shown from Pakistan. I'll even tell you where, that I've shown from Pakistan. What is the name of that chlorite group member? All right, best of luck to you. Again, Charles, welcome to the family. As someone said the other day, they haven't discovered a dysfunctional part to us yet. And, well, I think that's a good thing. So let's keep rocking on, and let's keep adding to the family members of the group. And I am so glad that by you searching for how to bezel set a stone, that it brought you here. And anybody else that is listening, just send us a comment, good, bad, or ugly. Send us a comment that, you know, I'm a closet watcher, but love the show. It can make it as simple as you want, but just join in, or just send us your answers to the trivia questions, and there's all probability, certainly a high possibility due to the limited number of people that enter, that you can win something really cool. And if you do it every week, I can assure you, you will end up a winner. All right. Thank you, all of you. God bless each and every one of you and your families. And, you know, just appreciate every day. And I need to do a little bit of that, because this week again was always a little bit difficult when I'm not myself, and then sometimes I make things worse on my own. It gets in my head. So when all else fails, literally, I can look at a rock or mineral specimen and just lose myself in it and not think about anything else. And that is the magic to our amazing hobby that has brought us all together. And our hobby, the roots of it, are the building blocks of this entire earth and every man, woman, and child on it. We're all made up of the elements and the formulas and the compounds that Mother Nature uses to create everything living and everything not living. In other words, that is organic. All made from the building blocks of what we so love and enjoy. So I'd say that all of us have our feet on the ground, stably planted, and let's continue to grow and learn from there. Thank you. And Mr. Anthony, thank you again so very much. It was a great way to finish off the show before we finished off the show. God bless all of you, and I'll see you next Monday. Cheers.